Lieutenant, your truck. Police test. Waiting your cue.
That's good, Cleet. Let's trim the base out of mic number 1. Stand by. We open up on the desert, Cleet.
A few hours ago, this desert showed no sign of life. Just sand, sagebrush, Joshua trees, and small animals that fight to escape the withering sunlight. The men and equipment you see are essential to an experiment in high-speed flying, the testing of a new airplane for our national defense. At this moment, the Douglas A-4D-1 Skyhawk is a few miles away at Edwards Air Force Base, being readied for the flight. Our cameras are situated throughout this area in hopes that we may show you how Douglas and the U.S. Navy conduct a speed test. We're here to cover an attempt to establish a new official speed record for aircraft on a closed course. Lieutenant Gordon Gray, U.S. Navy test pilot, is on his way down to the end of the runway to check over the Navy's new carrier aircraft, an attack plane, Douglas-built A-4D-1 Skyhawk. It's quite an airplane.
Hi, Gray.
Gray, come on over. Can I talk to you just a minute?
Hey, are you on the air now?
Yes, I am. That's why I wanted to talk to you. Wanted to ask you, do you think you're going to succeed in setting a new speed record today?
Well, I certainly hope so. If this wind will die down a little bit. It's so strong now, it's going to create a lot of turbulence and make it harder to fly at low altitude.
Well, it is quite a wind. I don't know how in the world the Joshua trees stand up, let alone you and I out here in this gale. I wanted to ask you a question, though, Lieutenant Gray, about this test flying that you do now for the U.S. Navy. How does it compare with your combat flying in Korea?
Well, I think it's just about as exciting. However, fortunately, it's not quite as dangerous as that was. Oh, excuse me, Cleet, I've kind of...
Oh, that's all right. Thanks very much. That's Lieutenant Gordon Gray of the United States Navy, a test pilot. He's a native Californian, has a wife and 3 kiddies waiting for him back at Patuxent River, Maryland. He's the man we'll keep our eye on today, if we can. Jack, would you take this coat and tie? It's getting hot out here.
Okay, Cleet, you're on camera 1.
I'm standing in the middle of a 100-kilometer closed circle. That's equal to about 60 miles. This is the kind of a course Lieutenant Gray must fly. It's plainly marked with pylons every 5 miles. Pylons Lieutenant Gray can easily see. Lieutenant Gray must pass over each pylon at an altitude of not more than 300 feet above the desert floor. As a matter of fact, he may at times come down to as close as 150 feet from the mesquite and sagebrush out here in the Mojave Desert. He must incidentally exit from the closed course at an altitude higher than that at which he entered. We're going to take you visually around this course by switching to our various camera positions. Camera Able is standing by at position 1. Come in, Able. You're looking at one of the pylons. That red paper being tacked on there can be seen for many miles in the bright desert sun. Camera Baker, how does it look from the air? Come in. You're in a relatively slow airplane and you're flying over the course that Lieutenant Gray will follow. Of course, you'll be traveling so fast that the desert will look like a blur, except for the bright splash of color that is the pylon. Now back to Earth and Camera Charlie. Come in, Charlie. This stack of old tires will make a column of black smoke, easily seen against the light sand. Smoke serves a double function. It shows the wind drift to a degree. It makes a easily discernible marker. Well, that's what the course looks like. You may see flashing mirrors and other devices that will be used to help Lieutenant Gray stay on course. He's going to be a busy man, too. For example, he has to fly a 30-degree turn around each of those pylons you saw a moment ago, and he must fly 5 times around the course to complete this 500-kilometer speed test. We're going to be working on top of that truck back there during the speed test itself. We'll get up there in just a moment. But first, let's talk with some experts. Man in the red shirt is Floyd Bryan. With him is Al Carter. Hey, Floyd.
Hi there, Cleet. All your cameras working?
Oh, yeah, they're all working. We're going to get a good picture of the whole desert, the whole course area, I think. Floyd, first I might tell you this is Al Carter on my right. Al Carter is project manager for the Douglas Aircraft Company here at Edwards Air Force Base in the Mojave Desert. And Floyd Bryan is the course captain and an electronics engineer for Douglas. Floyd, a good part of the world is pretty anxious to know, I think, what's going to be accomplished here today. What is going to happen, in your opinion?
Well, the course is in good shape. I don't see any reason why we ought not to break the 700 mark.
700 miles per hour, eh? What do you think, Mr. Carter?
Well, I don't know, Floyd. This is pretty rough afternoon, and the air is going to be rough, and the temperature isn't as high as it should be. I doubt if we are able to do 700 miles an hour. We'll probably make a new record, though, but I don't think we'll do 700.
What's this, a difference of opinion, gentlemen?
Well, there better be, the record better be higher than that, because my number in the pool is over 700, and if it doesn't go higher, I'm not going to cash in. Come on, Al, we got work to do.
Nice seeing you, gentlemen. I guess I better get up on this truck. While I'm negotiating this truck, let's switch down and see how Lieutenant Gray is coming along. Douglas test pilot Bob Braun holds the world's record for the 100-kilometer course. He's briefing Lieutenant Gray on the characteristics of this course. Gray should be taxiing out at any moment. At any moment, we should get the signal to begin the run. Our radio operator is in contact with the control tower for last-minute weather clearance. As you know, we're going to have quite a wind out here today. Looking way over on the horizon, I can see large clouds of dust moving in toward the flight course. Now, that's quite a heavy wind. Do you recall what Lieutenant Gray said a moment ago? He said that if the turbulence exceeds the minimum, or rather I should say the maximum allowable, well, this whole flight may be postponed. Oh, that's the wind. This is the critical moment before the takeoff, when every man who plays a part in this test checks himself and checks his instruments. Instruments that measure with the greatest possible precision every phase of this flight.
2820, Viper 1, 2820.
These men are about to use the sum total of the knowledge and the experience gained by Douglas and the Navy in all the years of their development of aircraft. Things that are being used here today with confidence came out of the flight log books that are the cumulative history of aviation. From the Douglas biplanes that were first to fly around the world, from the thousands of combat pilots of SBB dive bombers in World War II, and from TBM torpedo planes, from those who flew the ADs in Korea, the flyers and the ground crews, from countless numbers of such people, the engineers gather inspiration that guides their hands across the plans of the A4D1 that we see here today and goes on. We may see a new record set here in the next few minutes, but whatever happens will be carefully documented and recorded and studied for the new and improved designs that must follow. This is the way aviation progress is made. Yesterday, today, tomorrow. This is it. That was the signal. Lieutenant Gray is airborne. He's heading for the first pylon. Looking for a trail of smoke somewhere in the sky, which may come from his afterburners. Turbulence has died down, apparently. We were worried for a while about the wind. The Skyhawk's up there. Well, he's ready to go. Okay. It takes a sharp cameraman to keep up with Lieutenant Gray this afternoon. The official photographer, Leo Costa, bears a heavy responsibility. His camera must document the exact moment the Skyhawk passes the start line. Costa's camera throws a switch electrically to set in motion the 100,000 cycle clock that times the run. Costa got the A4D1 crossing the finish line, and his camera stopped the clock that will now be examined by the officials.
Our time is limited, but already there's every promise, every indication that a new world's record on the closed course, 500-kilometer course, has been established. Confirmation, of course, will have to come later. The official timer supervising today's test is Mr. Bert Rhine of the National Aeronautic Association and the Fédération Aéronautique Internationale. If Mr. Rhine is satisfied that all official test conditions have been met, he will verify the record established here today.
The official record has been verified at 695.163 miles per hour.
The official record has been verified at 695.163 miles per hour. And that's it. Another milestone in aviation progress. Lieutenant Gray and the Douglas Navy team have added another chapter in the record of aviation science. This is Cleet Roberts thanking you for joining us here in the Mojave Desert to observe the speed test of the Douglas Skyhawk.